What's up, gamers? Dreamcastguy here, talking today about Oddworld Soulstorm, because this game has finally released. This has had literally years of delays, but now that it's arrived, was it actually worth the wait? Well, yes it was, but I want to talk about some different aspects of this, and why this game kind of inspires me. But let's get to that in a second. Let's start things off by talking about the goods, the bads, and the unexpected retro aspects of this. So if you never played any of the Oddworld games, the Abe's Adventures, these are like these 2.5D puzzle platformers. They require you to do a lot of problem solving, and to be quite frank, you're going to die a lot. This entire game, if you want to try and finish every single stage, find all the collectibles, get all the secrets, this is easily over 20 hours of content, but a lot of that is flat out getting smashed to bits. I died literally hundreds of times. I can easily say that without even looking at my death counter. I was completely smushed, I was burned, I was exploded, I fell off cliffs. I died a lot while playing this game, but that's also kind of why I enjoy it. This game really manages to create that really inspirational flair when you manage to figure out a puzzle yourself. Because this is so much about problem solving, I'm going to edit this video so you don't see too many of the solutions. There's so much in this game that it's not really like a spoiler specifically, but I just want to make sure that there is just as many surprises as possible in case you choose to pick it up. So what is our motivation in this? Why are we actually solving all these gigantic deadly puzzles? Well, in this game, we're playing as Abe. Abe is this little like frog creature called a Mudokon. Now, all of the Mudokons, they used to be slaves. They worked in these humongous corporate factories, churning out things like toxic sludge or energy drinks. These people were slaves for decades of their lives until one day that Abe caused this gigantic uprising. And now the Mudokons are trying to escape their terrible factory lives and find something better, something more natural. Something that makes this game just click at such a deep emotional level is the fact that these Mudokons, they're just such chill guys. They're just so happy-go-lucky. They just want to sit around and party. Like, they don't want to work in these factories. They don't want to be stuck in this life. They just want to hang out. And Abe, even he himself, is just a little hippie. He's our goofy savior. Yes, he's destined to lead his people to greatness, but he also kind of just wants to sit around himself. I really like the fact that this game, especially with these PlayStation 5 cutscenes, the animation, the story, it really manages to make you care about saving these people, if for no other reason, to give these people finally a day off, a chance for the Mudokons to enjoy their very short and rather rugged existence. Now let's talk about how each of these levels works. So as you're going through these, there's lots of different toolkits that Abe has. He's able to craft materials, making things like bombs, a rubber bouncing ball that can knock people out, or even sometimes just things like having a fire extinguisher so you can blast things. Using your different toolkits, this is only half of the equation. The other aspect of this is the mind control. Like, the biggest thing that makes Abe different than the other Mudokons is that he is able to project his soul out of his freaking forehead and go into different people. Now, if you do this, you can mind control one enemy at once. There are occasionally these like landmine boxes floating up in the air that stop you from using mind control, but for a big chunk of this game, you get a chance to jump into the bad guys' bodies and use their guns, their flight paths, their ability to rocket around these levels and stuff. And this is what makes the game fun, is that this is all about the puzzles. This is all about trying to figure things out, because usually there is one correct solution. There's a very big problem in front of you, like a bunch of boxes that are trying to fall over, or spike pits, or sometimes just things like trying to get past a huge rolling saw blade or something. And you need to try and figure out what you're doing wrong and how you can do it right. But what's fun about this is that it's kind of fun that they constantly put, for every single puzzle, there is a checkpoint right before it. So you get a chance to just throw yourself against it again and again, trial and error, figuring out the correct solution to this. This is where the game does feel a little bit retro to a way that I feel like some people will not enjoy. This game is definitely about brutal difficulty at times. Like, you will just constantly be having to jump and dodge and use your double leap to fly over gaps, and if you make a single mistake, you're back to the checkpoints. Now, you do have infinite lives. You can try this again and again and again, but part of the reason this is just so difficult is that part of this game is about saving as many of our fellow Mudokons as possible. Throughout these stages, there is a main path. Now, if you just want to try and speed run through these levels, it's actually pretty easy. Most of the 15 levels can easily be finished in about 40 minutes to maybe an hour each, but where this becomes difficult is that if you want to see the final ending and the true final stages, you have to actually go around and explore in these stages themselves, finding the little hidden paths and the hidden Mudokons, that way you could recruit them and bring them along with you. But once you have them, you have to then do all these crazy complicated death trap puzzles while also commanding them. Like, this is tough. Honestly, it can be incredibly demoralizing and sometimes even downright depressing to watch your fellow Mudokons end up making one false step and getting crushed into friggin' toilet paper. Wait, that doesn't make sense. They get crushed into peanut butter. There we go. Here's the thing, is that this game is very, very focused on difficulty through perfection. Now, most of the time I think this works. I'd say that 95% of these puzzles, even if they are rough, even if they do require a lot of precision to them, I think that 95% are way more fun than they are frustrating. The only times I found myself just getting a little bit just distracted, times where I found myself getting, well, kind of taken aback by the pointless difficulty of it, is the timing puzzles. Now, thankfully, there isn't a ton of these, but there are certain sections where you need to try and just do a bunch of sequenced jumps, trying to go past a series of traps simultaneously. Or, the most annoying thing of all, defusing landmines. This flashes in a microsecond. You have to press the square button while the light is green. If you do it wrong, you blow up. Now, the reason this is so annoying is because you just end up having to repeat content again and again and again. Now, as I mentioned earlier, they're very, very forgiving with the checkpoints, but it sucks that occasionally I would get stuck for 20 minutes trying to defuse a random singular landmine. Now, you might be just saying, well, don't suck, Dreamcastguy, but that's partly true, yes, but I feel like through practice, through discipline, through focus, every puzzle should be solvable. It's only these that are just so meticulous in a way that doesn't feel as fun as the rest. When I'm mind controlling enemies and making them shoot each other, or when I'm trying to jump through a bunch of gaps or run around in a landmine practically blind and stuff, these moments are so good that it only kind of annoyed me that these times that are just so focused on timing and nothing else, they don't feel as rewarding as the other aspects do. Now, I do want to mention some of the glitches in this game because there are just a couple. The biggest thing is that I noticed that there is this reoccurring bug currently where if you're trying to jump into somebody's body, sometimes you just lose control of the character. You cannot die, you can't leave the body, you can't do anything. You have to just restore your previous checkpoints. Now, this one popped up in a couple different levels. I'm not sure what's causing this or if it's just some sort of like day one bug or whatever, but it's certainly annoying. The other one is one that I haven't personally experienced, but the developers themselves have been doing their best to try and spread the word that this is something that might pop up, which is apparently that at the end of the game, there is a crashing bug, but it's only in the console version. But when you go up to the final stages of the game, randomly the game just shuts itself off. Oddworld just says, nope, and it freaking shuts itself off. Now, this doesn't seem to corrupt save files or anything crazy and dramatic, but it is strange that this is still popping up. Now, the only other thing to this is that I wish that this connected a bit more to the rest of the Oddworld games. This is technically like a reimagining to the 1998 PlayStation 1 game called Oddworld Abe's Exodus. Since this is like a prequel, sequel reimagining thing, we don't get a chance to see the other parts of the Oddworld universe. So I'm somebody that definitely loves the other spin-offs, like Stranger's Wrath. Absolutely love it. My favorite Oddworld game is Munch's Odyssey, and we don't get a chance to see Munch. We don't get a chance to see any of these other characters because, unfortunately, since this is a very contained prequel style thing to the current storyline, it makes it where, it's good, but I wish we got a chance to just have an homage, a little bit of a hint to the grander schemes and grander ordeals going on in Oddworld. This game is certainly some very high quality fun, and it feels like a perfect exemplification of why I feel like even indie games are going to look better and play better on these next gen consoles. I'm glad I beat this on PlayStation 5, and even now I'm ready to go back. I'm ready to find the last of the Mudokons, to find every single secret, every single stage, to make sure I see the true ending to this crazy freaking awful apocalypse that's just so entertaining. Well, we've heard some good and some bad, but let's go over the ratings board and put a big number on it. I am giving Oddworld Soulstorm a 9 out of 10. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this game is currently on PlayStation Plus, so if you're somebody that has a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 5, this is certainly worth installing. You will not regret it. It is a game that manages to start off strong and it ends even stronger. Definitely give it a shot. Thank you so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. I kind of enjoy these games that just crush me to bits a million times because there is something just so uniquely satisfying about a game that manages to be so brutal and yet so charming. Like watching this cute character get smashed to bits. Man, something's wrong with it, but it just works. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.